Have you ever gone out birding full of excitement and then come back thinking, where did all the birds go? Don't worry, I've been there too. And in fact, most beginner birders go through the same frustration. But the good news is, there is ways to change that. Today, I'm going to give you 7 proven tips to spot more birds more often. These are the exact things I use every time I go out into the field. And make sure you stick around till tip number 7, because you could literally double the amount of birds that you find. Tip number 1 is to pick the right habitat for maximum sightings. One of the great things about birding is the fact that birds are practically everywhere. However, for this video, I'm showing you how to find as many birds as possible, and so to do that, you need to make sure that you are birding in the correct habitat. The kind of habitat that you want is one that has water, and for this reason, wetlands can be one of the most productive spots for finding a lot of birds. One of the best ways to find great hotspots that have a lot of birds is to go to eBird and then check out the Hotspots tab. And here, hotspots are color-coded to let you know how many birds have been seen there. If it's a blue or a gray, you're not going to find quite as many birds there as maybe like a dark red. Tip number 2 is to time your outings like a pro. Birds don't necessarily operate on our schedule, and so if you're heading out at noon, chances are that you are not birding the peak birding hours. While this can vary from season to season, birds are most active 2 hours after sunrise and 2 hours before sunset. That's when they feed, sing, and defend territory, which is all great for spotting them. And once at a National Wildlife Refuge in Washington, I saw 28 species in the middle of the day, while if I would have gone in the morning, I probably could have got closer to 40 species. Wetlands are one habitat that can still be very productive outside of morning hours. If you're looking for songbirds, morning hours is definitely the time to go, as that's when they're singing and you can pick up a lot more birds. But if you're looking for birds of prey, afternoon can be just as productive, if not more productive, because it is warmer then, and that's when birds are out using the air thermals to move around. Tip number 3 is to slow down and then slow down again. If you just blaze through trails, you're not birding, you're just hiking. When you slow your pace down to a crawl, you start to notice some smaller things that you may have missed at normal speed. Try this. Walk 20 feet, stop, scan, listen for birds, and then repeat. You'll start spotting birds that were there all along. You just need to slow down in order to find them. Tip number 4 is to use your ears. 80% of my birds are found by sound first. This is especially true in dense habitats. Birds are often vocal before they're visible. You can use Merlin Bird ID's Sound ID feature. It's awesome for identifying bird songs. Once you hear a sound, you can either identify it right there, or you can try to find it. I'll link my guide to birdsong in the video description below. Tip number 5 is the chickadee trick. Whenever I hear a chickadee or a titmouse, I pay attention. These birds often lead mixed flocks, which is traveling groups of different species of small birds that move together through the trees or whatever habitat they're in. Typically, they're made up of birds such as warblers, kinglets, or nuthatches. They're all tagging together to try and avoid predators. And so if you see a small flock of these birds, pay attention, because there can often be some more birds and species mixed in. Also, another cool trick that you can get from small birds like chickadees is if they're making a lot of noise, an owl might be nearby, so pay attention. If this video has been helpful so far, do me a favor and hit that like button so more birders can find this video. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to Better Birders, because this channel is all about leveling up your skills to help you become a better birder. Okay, let's keep going. Tip number 6 is to learn to work the edges. Birds love the transition zones between habitats. This is where like a forest meets a meadow, or shrubs line up against a stream, or it could even be as simple as a fence line. These areas will often give birds access to multiple food sources and shelter options. You can also see several types of birds because you're in 2 different habitats. For example, you can be standing in one area and see grassland birds on your left, and then wetland birds such as ducks on your right. Tip number 7 is to stay put and let the birds come to you. Here's one that most birders overlook. Sit down and see what shows up. When you stay still, birds become more used to you and then will become more active around you. Birds that were hiding will start coming out again and foraging for food. The key here is to pick a spot that birds will be attracted to. Find some water like a creek, or good habitat like fruit trees or a bird feeder. Some of your best bird experiences and photos will come from staying in one spot. Also, if you're birding during the middle of the day, pick one spot that has some water and see what shows up. If you want more birding tips just like this, make sure you sign up for the Better Birders newsletter. You'll get notified of new videos, bird fun facts, and more sent to your inbox every week. You can sign up with the link in the video description below.